Online coaching is superior. That's right. I said it. As I already mentioned in the last video, it's just like PT has some advantages as in person, and the online has most of it. Okay, the in-person, yes. You can check someone's technique in real life quickly. You can do it immediately. So fair enough. Like that still is an advantage. But that's about where it ends. Like with the rest of it, it's, as opposed to like, and I'll show exactly what it looks like later in this video. I'll share my screen, show you exactly what my coaching specifically looks like, so you have an idea about like all the systems and everything in place to know what it is I'm talking about and why it is better. But first, let me just explain, which is like with the in-person, yes, that's the technique. But then after that, like usually, we do a session, which we only have an hour. And most of the time, when you really want to be effective, especially with the kind of people that I work with, guys who just want to get fucking jacked, you need more than an hour. You're not going to get that session done in an hour. You can if you have to, and I will readjust it if you genuinely only have an hour. But most of the time, it's going to be like hour and a half, maybe, like hour 15 at least. So like, I cannot be with you the whole time if it's just a PT session. So that's one. So you're losing on that. But more importantly, it's kind of like when the session's over, okay, I'll see you in a week. Like, it's kind of like, we're not doing all of them together. Most people cannot pay for fucking 4 sessions together in one go. So, it's cheaper to do it online. But also, it's just, you're still on your own most of the time. And it's kind of like, okay, I'll see you in a week. Like, it's almost like you're kind of dead to me until then. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I know it sounds bad. Like, okay, your session's done, you're dead to me until you pay me next time. But that effectively is how it works. Like, we can stay in contact during the week, but you don't give a fuck because I can't see anything that you're doing. Online, on the other hand, I can. It's all down through the apps and that kind of stuff, so I can see exactly what it is you're doing in terms of your sessions, in terms of your food, in terms of your steps, all of it. Right? Again, I'll show that in a minute. So it's just better. Like, ironically, even though there's technically less contact in terms of in person, there is actually more data to look at, and I have more to go off. So in a way, we have more contact than we would if we actually met in person. And if you want to argue, like, yes, technically you could combine both. Like, you could be on the apps and everything during the week and then go do in-person sessions together. And some people do that, like, fair enough. But the problem with that is, like, now it's the app thing and everything, like all of the time and attention it takes in between that I do as an online. But then on top of it, we have to do the session. So like, it just becomes much more costly for the client because you're basically paying for both, right? Because at the end of the day, the payments are based on like how much of my time it takes. So if we do both, it's just going to be paying like fucking double effectively or triple, because online is usually like half as expensive as the in-person if you're doing like a certain number of sessions each week. So it just doesn't, like, for some, sure, but it doesn't make much sense in terms of cost effectivity. And then there's also the fact that, I'm limited to people within this gym when I want to do personal training, whilst if I want to do online, I can do it with people anyway. So, I literally have clients from the US, some from Europe, I don't have Australians right now, but I did have back in the day. So it's just like, you can do all of that, no problem, whilst in person, that wouldn't work. Which leads me to, most people have no idea what the online actually is. Like, they just think we're doing in like a personal session over Zoom or something, like we're just a video call and I watch them and count their reps there. No, like, if that's how it was done during fucking lockdowns when, like, online thing wasn't really as much of a thing yet. So it was just like, okay, what to do now? So you just did like in-person sessions with your clients over Zoom with them using some bands or whatever, which was A, fucking ridiculous, and B, it was just killing you. But more importantly, you can't do that with people over time zones. Like, you would be just as limited as you are now within the same gym, let's say, because, well, if someone's, I have clients from Utah, for example, they're 8 hours behind in time. So there's pretty much not a time of day that we can do it. Like, yeah, we can do their morning, which will be my evening. But like, if they want to do it in the evening, I'm not waking up at 3 in the fucking morning to do their Zoom session, right? But if I just tell them do this session online, they just do it themselves. They can record themselves or whatever for the technique. Doesn't fucking matter that I'm asleep. I'll just check it when I wake up and then give them feedback. Like, it's just, incredibly superior in every way. I said that's pretty much it in terms of like the talking before that. So let me just switch into and I'll switch screens and show you what it actually looks like when you're being coached by me. Or, I mean, online coaching in general, but like obviously every coach is a different style. So I'm just going to use mine as an example to give you an understanding about how things work behind the scenes and what you would actually be getting should you choose to get involved with me in terms of coaching.
All right, so I'm going to now show you exactly what it looks like to be trained online as promised. So I personally do things through an app. Before you worry, okay, all of this color-coded mess is my problem. That is not something that you have to deal with. All you deal with is just this. You just have a dashboard of things that need to be done on the day, and that's it. You have your, let's say, cardio, you have your training, and then you have your macros for the day. That's it. You upload your daily weight, and you're good to go. Okay, that is all that you have to do. You just basically tick things off one thing at a time, one day at a time, without having to worry for the whole like big picture, weekly, monthly, yearly stuff, because that is why you pay me. Next, we have food. So again, it does get somewhat tracked through here. No, I do ask my clients personally to track things with FitnessPal, okay, which then allows me to see what you're having because it connects with this app. They synchronize. So I click on it here and I can see exactly what it is he had for food on the day. He is on point as always, but if he wasn't, I could just go, right, say there was too many carbs and not enough protein, I go, right, less of this and more of this, right? And sort it. And then you get feedback basically every time I look. So every week I go through it and tell you exactly what it is that needs to change, it needs to be improved and so on. Something I couldn't do if it was just an in-person stuff. That's the food, okay? All of it, I see it every single day. I can check, I do check, I will check to make sure that you are on point, and that way we pretty much guarantee that we progress in the right direction. He is gaining at the moment, therefore he is going up, as we can see here, okay? Now here, he's been with me for a while, so we've done like a cut, then a gain, then a cut again. This is a 2-week all-inclusive holiday during which he regained quite a bit, but that's normal. So we did a cut, that's where his pictures come from. I'm gonna put them in here so you can see the transformation. And then now we're gaining again. That's it. That's how that works. Okay, so again, I can go in here and I could change it if I wanted to different numbers. Like if I'm going to up his food, I'm going to add another 20, 30, whatever carbs, let's say. I'm going to change it in here in this window, save, and it will let him know that that's the change that's been made. I'll also tell him during his check-in video. Training wise, same thing. So this is his split. You would get your own, of course, but then you go into this and then he just shows up in the gym. You load up the app and it tells you, right, day 1, chest and arms, first exercise, stability ball crunch, 2 sets of 15 to 20, right? There is videos for every single one of them. Either they're through, within the app for like the basic ones. If it's something a bit more like advanced, let's say, or complicated, I load up a trustworthy source on YouTube to make sure that you have the correct one, okay? So it comes with step-by-step guidelines too. So even if you're not sure, it tells you exactly what needs to be done. So even though I'm not there with you in person, you are pretty certain that you are doing things the way you're supposed to. That said, you just record yourself, you send it to me, I take a look, and I give you feedback on what needs to change. So this is, again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is the one disadvantage, I suppose, that I can't see you in real time to correct you in real time. It does take some time, but again, you just do one session, you record yourself, you send it back, I give you the feedback to correct. From week 2 onwards, you're good to go. Like, you don't need me there at all times. It also tells you like the progressions, because let's say on week 1 you did, barbell grip, bicep curl, you did 14 with 20. Now you go, right, I'm going to go for 15 today. So there's like an inbuilt progression to make sure it's pushing you to keep going for more. Like a replacement of me having to tell you almost. And you do the same thing with every single session. In the calendar, again, the advantage of online, we don't have to schedule in, oh, we need to be there 6 p.m. on a Monday. You can just do it whenever you want. I don't care if you do it on a Monday or a Tuesday. I don't care if you do it at 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. What matters is that at the end of the week, it is all ticked off. So it gives you freedom to go whenever it suits your schedule instead of having to adjust to mine when we're scheduling for the gym session itself. And it's still going to force you to show up just like it would when I go there with you in person, because guess what? I can see if you've done it. I can see which sessions have been ticked off and which haven't. In this case, the reason these haven't been ticked off was because he was ill. Man flu, so he nearly died. You know, we all know. But the rest of this week is going to get done because he's fine again, so he's doing everything he is supposed to. Now, in terms of our main point of contact, there is a weekly check-in. So every Wednesday, you see here, it says complete check-in. He does that. First thing you do is you upload your morning pictures into the app here, okay? And then you fill out a questionnaire. You would get the link to it the night before. So in my case, you know, you get it Tuesday evening so that you can fill it out on Wednesday morning. You get the link to it, you open it up, and then I get the responses here. You know, your biggest win, how did your week go overall? It's a logic-based questionnaire. So the worse your week has been, the more questions you're going to have to make sure you give me all of the data I need to then be able to make a decision and or change. You know, hydration, did you get your steps? How did you sleep? Is there anything you would like, you know, to improve on? Your training sessions, did you progress? All of that stuff. Again, a lot more in depth than it would be if we just kind of chatted in between sets in the gym. On a Thursday morning, again, in my case, this may differ based on, you know, at which point we start working together. But as of right now, on a Thursday morning, you will get a response from me, which will look exactly like this, me recording it right now. You have my morning hair in a corner, okay, in the head here, and then you see my screen, and I'm telling you what's changing, what needs to be worked on, and so on. That's the weekly check-in done. So all of the changes are made there. During the week, again, because it's not a case of, unlike the PT thing where, okay, I'm done with you for the week, you know, now you're dead to me, I'll see you next time. Like it could be with the check-in. It isn't. We talk on WhatsApp throughout the week. Any questions, any concerns, that's where you send me the videos of your feedback, pictures of your food if I ask for it, that kind of stuff. All of it is done throughout the week. So there is, despite it being long distance, it is actually much more personal than in-person training usually is.
Okay, so now that you've seen how that works and you're thinking, okay, maybe I'd like to give it a shot, you know, you want to get ready for summer and that kind of stuff, but you're not sure if you want to spend that money since, you know, it does cost a reasonable amount, then today is your lucky day and you have a chance, because soon I'll be launching, and by soon I mean in a couple of weeks, not even, I'm going to be launching something, a kind of program that is designed to get you in shape by summer this year, no matter what. Okay, and it will be much cheaper than the regular coaching normally would be. So if that is something you would like to try, just stay tuned. In the next video, I'm going to explain more of what I mean.